So I might just play this video for you first, just to give you a sense of what immersive VR education does. So let me just go here.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the long-range exploration of space. And none will be so difficult or expensive to accomplish.
You can see folks jumping around here. Can I ask, has anybody tried this experience? Has anybody downloaded it? Yeah, we got a couple of guys, that's great. Just to give you a bit of background as to what that is, that's a fully immersive VR experience of the Apollo 11 moon landing. It launched on Oculus and also on HTC a week and a half ago. Is always the way. So it's a fully immersive VR experience of the Apollo 11 moon landing, and it puts you in the seat of Neil Armstrong going to the moon. And it's a really interesting type of content because even before we launched it, it won 4 awards, including the Time Warner Future of Storytelling and the Unity Award as Best Documentary. So it's it's a combination of fully immersive VR experience, but it uses the real NASA soundtrack or audio track as you're going through it. It's historically accurate. The cockpits are modeled in incredible detail and they're completely historically accurate. And the motto of the company is learn through experience. So there's an interactive side to it as well, where you can actually land the Eagle on the moon, which is kind of hard to do because Eagle had 1 engine. So you've actually got to land it at an angle, and you've got to be very careful about the angle which you come down on and the fuel that you expend. Typically it takes about 10 times to learn how to land it. And you can do some docking and undocking as well. You can run it in cinema mode. It takes about 50 minutes in cinema mode, and it feels like a new type of documentary. Or you can run it in interactive mode, in which it has certain elements of a game. But those game elements are really to teach you certain things about the Apollo landing itself. Now, it was one of the launch titles for Oculus and for HTC. And the good news is that it's, I checked as of yesterday, it was number 3 seller on one of the platforms and number 2 on the other, which is fantastic given the fact that most of the Oculus titles that Oculus launched with were paid for by Oculus. So this is one of the few pieces of indie content on the Oculus platform. And even though there's not that many headsets in the wild yet, sales are actually pretty good, and we've been pretty impressed. One of the things that's really interesting and maybe an indicator of how many headsets are out there, because there's not a lot of figures for this, is that we have sold more copies on HTC than we have on Oculus. And we were really, really surprised by that and kind of blown away by that. I think that will change over time as more Oculus Rifts get out into the wild. But who here has a CB1? That's why there are more HTCs out there than Oculuses at the moment. I'll talk a little bit more about the company in a minute, but what I'd like to do is just step back a little bit. If it's okay, talking a little bit about TSSG and what we do and some of the work that we're doing in the AR and VR space. I've only got 3 slides, okay, so it won't take too long. So first of all, I should apologise for turning up to a VR event in a suit. I was saying to Nikki earlier on, part of what we do is we raise cash as well. So I was meeting bankers for the last 2 days in London, so I just flew back, and that's the reason I turned up to a VR event in a suit. So apologies for that. So just a bit of background on TSSG. We're based in Waterford and also in Kilkenny, and we're around 20 years this year. So we're founded, that's actually technically incorrect, in September 1996 the organisation was founded. And it was founded by Professor Willie Donnelly, and Willie is now the president of WIT. And I run the organisation on a day-to-day basis for Willie. And we're a research centre which is hosted by WIT. We're 100% self-funded, so we're just like a business. We have 140 staff, but our business is slightly different. So our business is doing research and then using that research to have an impact, and then also helping Irish companies. And we both work for multinationals here in Ireland, and we also work for startups, Enterprise Ireland clients, and also very, very early stage companies as well. So part of our mandate is to be looking out into the future and doing advanced research, and then leveraging that for the startup community in Ireland and also for multinationals as well. Oh, and those 2 pictures, those are our 2 buildings in Waterford. It's a beautiful campus. It's just directly off the motorway, and so it's very quick to get there from Dublin. In fact, depending on the speed you go on the motorway, it could be like 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20 from the Red Cow. So when Willie founded TSSG, he founded it as a telecommunications software group which focused on telecoms management. And so networks really have been the core, really is the core area of expertise where our work emanates out of. But over the years that evolved, of course, into mobile, and it evolved into data, and most recently it evolved into AR and VR services. But doing research and then working for companies in that space. And again, just our focus is that this diagram here to the bottom is really about our model, which is doing basic research and doing innovation, doing engineering and entrepreneurship, and then leveraging that for Irish companies. And then I've just got 2 quick slides. I'll go through this one pretty quickly. At the top, we just talked about some of the core areas we focus on, and then in the boxes, the core research areas. And then each of these logos, the top set of logos, are a small selection of the multinationals we work for. The middle set of companies are Enterprise Ireland clients, so that's the startup community in Ireland. And then the bottom layer would be the startups that we create. So we create 2 to 3 startups per year. I won't go into any great detail, just to highlight a couple of key things. A lot of people might know us for mobile. We have a very strong mobile practice. And Red Hat is a multinational that's set up in Waterford. I founded a company called B. Henry back in 2010, and that was a mobile cloud platform. And we sold that to Red Hat at the back end of last year. And so Red Hat was the first kind of global software company to set up in the region. And it's kind of interesting when the first one comes, then a whole bunch of other ones come as well. So we've actually got a lot of, we've developed a pretty strong cluster in the southeast in terms of multinationals and startup companies as well. I'd just point out to Alto Cloud there as well. That's a company based in Galway. That's so everybody know Dragon's Den, Barry O'Sullivan. Anybody watch Dragon's Den? Barry's a Silicon Valley Dragon, and he used to run the communications business unit for Cisco, and that's a $1 billion business unit. So Barry came to us to help him build, when he was doing his own startup, he came to us to help him build his technology, and then we spun the technology out into his company, and Barry raised a round, and that company is doing fantastically now. So, final slide just before I show you some more video. And I'll just really focus on maybe two things. One is Lookout. That's on our mobile heritage. Lookout is a San Francisco-based company. They're a global leader in mobile security, and we do all of their European R&D. And then just to kind of conclude, just on some of the work that we're doing. So our work in AR and VR breaks down into three core areas. So we're interested in VR experiences, such as Apollo, VR games, and then the second area we're focused on is VR hardware. So we have some active work on two different types of VR gloves. One which is a kind of a traditional kind of mechanical glove that's got IMUs and things in it. And then the second one is purely based on computer vision. So we have a very strong computer vision team there. And then the third one is we have a very strong focus on AR as well. And we're doing two different types of AR projects right now. One is the kind of traditional kind of mobile-based AR, and then the second one is more HoloLens or smart glass type technologies as well. And we have a series of projects in that space. And then I guess just coming back to immersive, I just want to show you another quick video from immersive, and I'll talk through it as we go. So this is something, the second product from immersive called Lecture VR. And what you're going to see is somebody in a HTC Vive walking around on the surface of Mars. I like the app for accounting software.
Lecture VR Public Alpha 0.1. Lecture VR is a tool that allows users to hold meetings, professors to hold classes, and content.
So you can see Dave, who's the CEO of the company, in the top right-hand corner. He's got a HTC Vive on, and he's got the hand controllers there with him as well.
Simulated objects and interactive tools that will make educational content fun and intuitive. Alpha release is designed to test some of the capabilities of Lecture VR and will allow you to hold your own private meetings, presentations and classes over the network, collaborate on whiteboards remotely, and load our demo lessons. Our goal is to provide a platform that educators can utilise to enhance their student education and to provide an alternative method for distance learning programmes, giving our users a sense of being in a real location, taking part in a real class.
I might hold it there. You can see that video on the Immersive VR Education website. This is a multi-user platform for educational content. You can actually download that right now and use it. And there's some. You can go onto the surface of Mars if you've got a HTC. I just want to make a couple of comments about that. One of the things we've seen is I just want to go back to Apollo. If you look at any of the videos on YouTube related to Apollo 11, you'll see a couple of things. One is it has a really, really strong emotional impact. We've had people coming out of Apollo kind of welling up and teary-eyed because of the impact that VR can have. And we've also found it a really powerful way to teach people things by doing. So for example, I kind of thought I knew an awful lot about the Apollo program until I actually sat through Apollo 11. and I learned a whole bunch of new things, including how the eagle actually landed on the moon, and when the master alarms went off and things like that. So it's a very, very powerful both experience and environment for teaching people things. The other thing we've noticed is that, particularly with the HTC, we tend to spend an awful lot more time in the HTC than the Oculus, because at the moment Oculus is a seated experience, whereas HTC is a standing experience, or you can make it into a standing experience. And you can see here in this picture, both of the guys are standing up. Now, that video is slightly old. Dave has actually created a holodeck, like a traditional Star Trek holodeck, where you can walk around. Indeed, you've got the holodeck wallpaper in that room as well. But this experience where you're walking around in VR is incredibly powerful, and you really do lose yourself in that experience. So we actually think that this type of VR, I mean, obviously all the headsets will sell extremely well, but there's something special about standing and being able to move around in an environment and drop down and pick up things. You can, a couple of quick things you can, we don't have any demos here tonight, but we are demoing all of this in Kilkenny on Tuesday. We have an event in Lyrath Hotel in Kilkenny, and that's only about an hour from the M50. If any of you are interested in doing it, we have an open day for industry. We have a number of workshops, including we have Niall Oden from Kernel Capital, who can tell you how to raise VC funding. And then we also have some workshops about how you can access the research community through Enterprise Ireland programs such as Innovation Partners and Innovation Vouchers. And then we have a full VR session. And we have all of these demos. If you come to Kilkenny, you'll be able to walk on the surface of Mars in VR. The second thing is there's a conference on at the end of the month, AR VR Innovate. We'll have some demos at AR VR Innovate as well, if anybody's interested. We'll have a stand there and we can show you that. We'll also show you some other stuff, a lot of stuff I've not shown here. We'll also show you some of the work we've done in the game space as well. And we'll also, if anybody's at SVVR at the end of the month, we'll also have a stand at SVVR, and we'll be demoing some of this stuff as well. So I suppose just to conclude, as an organisation, part of what we do is create new companies like Lecture VR, but part of what we do is support the startup community in Ireland. And if you're a startup doing VR or AR projects and you want to get some support, we have a very strong team down there, very strong skills in Unity, in modelling, in C++, in lighting, all of the things that went into Lecture VR and Apollo. And we're there to support the startup community in Ireland. There's also a couple of initiatives that we're working on to provide even more support beyond the traditional Enterprise Ireland vouchers and partners. And whilst we can't announce them now, we do hope to be able to announce them maybe the next one of these, which would be great as well. So that's it. I encourage you, if you do have an Oculus, go to, or HTC, go to the store and download Apollo 11. And you can just go to the Immersive VR Education website and download Lecture VR and try it out. It's free. Thanks very much.
Thanks a million, Barry. We only asked him to speak today, so he put that together very, very quickly. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to be really, really quick because I just saw there was pizza wheeled in there a second ago and it's getting very cold. So I'm going to go really quick and say thank you so much for coming. On behalf of myself and the IR meetup, IR VR, which we're changing to Irish VR because it's very hard to say. So thank you from us, and the Wardux team is over here doing demos. This is my team. I'm the CEO and founder of Wardux, and we have demos over here if you want to try them. And then we join forces with the 3D Bootcamp meetup as well. So James and Lev are here, and big thank you for them with their help in organising today. And a massive thanks to Workday for giving us their office space, for giving us pizza. Thank you guys, really, really appreciate it. And hope you guys enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.